Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another episode of Red Rider's Viewers Rides. I'm Red Rider and this is my channel and this is Viewers Rides. And for anybody who's watched these episodes before, you guys all know what it's about. And for anybody who's new to the channel, these episodes are all about you guys. So kind of similar to Easy Rider's Readers Rides. It gives everybody an opportunity to have their motorcycle featured on my channel. So if you find my email in the description below and all the details for how to participate in one of these episodes, you can send me pictures of your motorcycle and I will put them in an episode on my channel. And just please remember, when you send photos, try not to send screenshots. Try to send photos that are like 1080p by 1080p or 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels. At least, like, that's the smallest that we can work with. Anything smaller than that makes it really hard because we make these episodes to be viewed on like a larger screen. So if your pictures are too small, they either end up blurry or they just end up not being able to fill the screen. So if you only have small pictures, send a lot of pictures. And I'd like to thank everybody who's participated in this episode. Hope you guys are looking forward to seeing your bikes in the slideshow. And as a lot of you already know, these episodes just kind of play through the motorcycles while I sit here and just kind of blabber on in the background about whatever's going on in my life regarding my channel or my motorcycles or whatever kind of topics that are motorcycle related come to mind and I decide to blabber on about. And then we just kind of see where the blabbering river goes, because sometimes when I get going, you'll know that I kind of go like a freight train. But I did want to just give you guys a little bit of an update. So I have not done much work in the garage. I know that people are going to ask about the bikes and what I'm working on next and everything. And as you guys can see, the shovel head is back on the lift behind me. And the reason for that is that we didn't have it quite finished for Shovel Fest. We had it finished enough to put into Shovel Fest, and it technically can be ridden as it is, but it's not finished. We just kind of did things quickly and put the bike together just so it could be put in the show. And now that the show is done, it is time to finish the shovel head and actually finish it the way that we've intended to. And then this bike is actually going to be going to my other older brother, not the brother who owned it before, but a different brother who you guys have never seen. And you guys will probably see him when he actually gets the shovel head. But we've got to finish it first. Anyways, I've been really busy editing videos, so I've not done a lot of work in the garage. And the next thing will be finishing the shovel head and then picking from one of the many motorcycles I have sitting in my garage to be the next thing to go up on the bench. And I did insure my Dyna, so you guys will see me riding my Dyna soon. So that is something that any of you who love my Dyna can be very excited about. I'm super excited about having my Dyna on the road, and I'm going to be doing a trip tomorrow, which by the time you guys see this, I'll probably either be back already or I'll still be gone on my trip. But I'm very excited. I've already done one trip on the Dyna. I did not make it to Boogie Bash this year because I had family in town, but that is how it goes, and I'm okay with that because I was much happier seeing my family who I've not seen in a very long time. Anyway guys, I'm gonna stop blabbering on and on. I'm gonna let you guys get into this slideshow, and for this episode I thought it would be fun for me to read a little essay that I wrote actually when I was doing some English upgrading, and I just stumbled across it recently. So this is an essay written by Angel, February 3rd, 2020, titled Ride or Die. This essay is satire more than anything else, and it's just something that I mostly did for fun because I didn't have any other topic to write an essay on at the time. Motorcycle riding has always been a great way to escape the stress and worries of everyday life, although it hasn't always been the most highly regarded activity by most in society. But it seems it's only becoming more popular as time goes on, with everyone and their mom beginning to get on board with the fun. But even with the growing interest, this two-wheeled sport still seems to get a bad rap at times, with many still looking at it as a reckless, dangerous hobby enjoyed by criminals. And looking at the history of some of the more notorious biker clubs, these assumptions do not go without merit. But truth be told, it's only about 1% of the biker population that truly fit this description. On a broader scale, I'd say that these days there are about 3 prominent subsets in the world of motorcycle riders: the novelty rider, the hipster, and the diehard. And editor's note, there's definitely more subsets than those 3, so let me continue. Even after all the motorcycle novelty riders I have met in my life as a young rider, unless they've been physically riding their motorcycle at that moment, I would have never been able to place them otherwise. Although when they're riding, I normally see them riding one of the latest touring model Honda or Kawasaki or other sport style touring bike equipped with an oversized full face helmet and full matching attire that looks as though it's only been worn a few times. And that is most likely the case. I've chosen to call them novelty riders because they aren't bikers as much as they are people who are interested in a hobby to pass the time when they have nothing better to do. And for many, it doesn't take so much as a small scare in traffic to deter them from riding altogether. I've also not been surprised to find that the riders who fall into this category are usually involved in other recreational style sports, such as golf, boating, or sports cars. And I have yet to meet one who knows anything about how to fix their own bike. Chances are you will never see them doing their own oil changes or tune-ups because they're just simply not interested. For them, it's just a bit of fun to enjoy when it's convenient. On the other hand, I have noticed that the hipster riders are a little more into bikes and enjoy the sport of motorcycle riding, but they are in it for the image more than anything. Hipsters have been given that title not because they are the rough and tumble kind of bikers, but rather because they consider motorcycles as the hip thing to be involved in at the time. I've known many who will express an intense interest in motorcycles and riding for a short time, but before long, they've fallen off the bandwagon and moved on to the next cool thing. These riders are pretty easy to spot as they spend a tremendous amount of time on their appearance, oftentimes not even wearing clothing that would be considered appropriate for the road. They seem to like to go for a more retro look, double-cuffed skinny jeans with a crisp white t-shirt under some sort of flannel button-up, both them and the bikes they are on looking like something out of the movie Grease. I've often wondered to myself how they manage to keep their hair so neat under their open face, tight-fitting vintage style race helmets. Nevertheless, the hipster seems to pull off their look quite well, and after all, that is what they're going for in the end, a look. Then we have the die-hard. Live to ride and ride to live is an expression I've heard so many times, and those words could almost entirely sum up how far these riders will go for their passion of motorcycles. Growing up with parents who were a little more involved in this clique, I've known my share of the die-hard kind of biker. These guys and some gals would willingly go without food if it means they can fill the tank again or buy one more month's insurance. And they'll happily spend their last few dollars on customizations or repairs to improve their motorcycle's rideability, making sure to squeeze every last bit of enjoyment they can out of their V-twin machines. And I am definitely guilty of that. If anybody else is with me, let me know. Even in the rare times that they can be caught not riding, they almost always look as though they have just come back from one or are about to go on another ride. And I know so many old men like that. And they certainly don't care if they've got helmet hair. Even though the diehard can't be bothered to fit into any sort of set standard and they don't care for creating any specific look, the passion they exude is definitely noticeable and not easily missed. Because motorcycle riders are widely viewed as being one and the same, to many people, these differences do not stand out. Many wouldn't think there to be so many classes within the biker realm, but once pointed out, the traits that differ a diehard from a hipster and a hipster from a novelty rider will likely become more clear. And maybe the many common misconceptions and stereotypes that have been applied to some of those who enjoy this hobby will someday no longer be a thing. Either way, I plan on continuing to enjoy the ride, and I wish the same for all my fellow riders, no matter what class they may fit best. And that is that. And that is definitely not all of my thoughts about motorcycle riders and all of the classes and all of the other things and the different types of people and everyone who gets into motorcycles, because I believe that literally every single type of person exists within like the motorcycle world, and they all ride for different reasons. They all ride different amounts. They all ride different kinds of bikes. They all enjoy it differently. Some of them are diehard. Some of them live for their motorcycles. Some of them don't really care that much about their motorcycles. They just kind of have it there because it's just, you know, another cool thing that they can afford. And some of them will like live in a cardboard box just so that they can be with their motorcycle. And it really doesn't matter what anyone's reason is for riding. I think that the only reason anyone should have for riding is because they enjoy it. And no one should ever put anyone else down because of what they ride or because of how they look when they ride or because of anything else like that. We should all just be able to enjoy it for our own reasons, I think, and that might sound super cheesy and just like, you know, super hippie, but it's kind of the truth. Like, honestly, whatever anyone else is doing with their motorcycles and their time doesn't affect my life. And I think that's kind of the whole thing behind the biker wave, is that like we wave to each other on the road because it's kind of just like a, hey buddy, like enjoy the ride. Like, you know, it's just like a mutual understanding of the fact that we're just out there enjoying ourselves. And you all know that I've talked about this stuff before, so I'm not gonna blabber on about it, but if you guys feel like you fit into any of those categories that I presented in my essay, then leave me a comment, let me know. I definitely think that those are things that kind of stand out about certain classes of bikers, and I definitely don't think that motorcyclists are limited to those 3 different categories. There's so many different types of riders out there, guys, it's crazy. You'll see like office women who ride their motorcycles on the weekends, and it's like you would look at this woman at her job in an office and you would never think that she's riding motorcycles on the weekend. It's just so crazy just how many different people and like their dogs literally are into riding motorcycles now. But I guess that's just kind of how it goes when things end up becoming so easy as they are, like parts and just having your bike repaired for you and stuff like that. Like those things are just so easily accessible now. Whereas back in the day, like when a lot of you guys were starting out, when you guys were young like me, if you wanted to ride a bike, you were probably scraping together your pennies to buy some piece of junk, and you were just like doing everything you could just to get that bike on the road just so you could ride. I know there's tons of stories out there like that from people like in my dad's generation and stuff, and they're super interesting. Like, I love hearing stories of how people got started out, guys. If you want to share with me your bikes, pictures of the bike you're riding now, pictures of maybe your first bike that you might not have anymore, any pictures of any motorcycle that you have ever owned in your life and ridden, if you want to have it in one of these episodes, guys, then send me your photos because we want to have them. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I want to thank everyone who participated in this episode with your photos, or even if it was just by watching or commenting or whatever. Thank you to all of my subscribers. I would not be here if it were not for you guys, and I mean that from the very bottom of my heart. I love reading your guys' comments and your encouragement, and I read every single comment, guys, and I respond to just about every single one of them, and I definitely appreciate all of the support that I get from every single one of you. But anyway, guys, that is it for this episode, and like always, my lovely YouTube people, if you like what you see, or if you just like me, or even if you don't like me but you like my bikes, then like, comment, subscribe, do all those things you guys do, and like always, my lovely YouTube people, I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace. Motorcycle riding has always been a great way to oh my gosh. Motorcycle riding has always been a great way to escape the stress and worries of every life. Okay. Oh man, why am I itchy?